Which is sponsored by the Word on Wealth Radio Network.
The airing of this program by this station is not an endorsement or recommendation by the station of the products or services discussed in the program. The station does not guarantee the results of any investments made by a listener to this program.
This is the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Gary is a San Diego financial solutions attorney, protecting people like you. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future. Now, here's Gary.
Happy Wednesday. This is a good day. Why? I always say that because today is Wednesday, and that's the day that we have our real estate expert on. So a couple of things. My question for you is, one, would you expect that houses would be more expensive in Mission Beach or Pacific Beach? And then two, have you always wondered what a real estate expert does in Las Vegas? And we're going to find out on today's show because we've got Ken hailing us live from Las Vegas. That sounds super cool. Live from Las Vegas, we have, ladies and gentlemen, Ken Pecus, founder of the Pecus Group at eXp Realty. Ken, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, considering I'm in Las Vegas and not San Diego.
So crazy.
It's a fun town, but not quite like San Diego.
Is anything like San Diego? Not.
No, except, do you guys have good weather? Tell me you have blue sky there, right?
Today we have blue sky and it's 80 degrees. 86
all right,
degrees.
All right. So that's my San Diego. That's what I want. So there you go. So
you're missing it.
This is great.
Well, because I know you went to Las Vegas on Monday, right? So Monday here was a little kind of not that great. Yesterday was incredible, and today it's just like it's off the charts. It's 86 degrees, clear, just absolutely gorgeous, clear skies. You can see all the way to the lagunas and out to the beach. It's pretty good.
Awesome. We'll just keep it up for a few more days, and I'll be back enjoying it. So
absolutely,
there you go.
So Ken, tell us about your convention. You're at I love the terms you said, Gary. I'm at eXpcon in Las Vegas. So tell us about the eXpcon. I'd love to hear more about eXp Realty. I know it's this wonderful company that you work for or work with. I want to know how all that works.
Well, yeah, I'm actually at the Mandalay Bay. It's a very, very large. It's a national. Actually, it's an international convention because. eXp is a international company. Our company is present in 24 countries. And that is actually the company itself versus we're connected to other agencies. So eXp Realty is in 24 countries. And so we have, there's eXp World Holdings. So the biggest part is the United States. The second biggest part is Canada. There's a whole part of all over Canada. And then there's eXp Global, which goes through countries, everything from Brazil and Chile to Australia, South Africa, Italy. So it's pretty well spread out through the planet. So it's a pretty cool company. And a lot of people actually have not even necessarily heard of it. They hear of a lot of some of these other companies. And they'll say, who is eXp? And so eXp is one of the largest companies in the United States. It probably is, I might be speaking out of turn, but I think it is the largest independent singular brand in the United States with, we just did 89,000 agents. Huh. So, give you a context in a lot of other companies, you might have heard out there, whether it's a company like, like Berkshire Hathaway or Compass or something else, they have dramatically less actual agents. And eXp has been around for I think 13 years. And it is a company that was just born out of a brilliant mindset. The founder was Glenn Sanford. And it is a cloud-based brokerage. So all the important stuff that happens in the terms of legal entities throughout the states is all done cloud-based. We have our own little metaverse. It's called eXp World. I have an avatar. It's just like watching the movie Avatar, and you go do everything live on there when you're dealing with company issues. So they avoid They avoid having to do all the brick and mortar stuff and everything, and all of us independent agents. And then you have an agent like me who's got a large team. We have amazing flexibility to do so much stuff, and they encourage us to brand our brand because we're the people on the ground. And we have a global brand, but they encourage us to brand the Pecus Group or whoever it might be. And in San Diego County, there's I think like 1,200 agents. And when you go around, people go, I'm not quite sure about EXP. And then I suddenly start throwing out some names and go, oh yeah, I know that person. Oh yeah, I know. They're all EXP because we've learned that we can run our businesses very efficiently, and we have this amazing company behind us. So it's the number one company in the United States for a number of properties sold right now.
Wow.
So
I love that. So tell us a little bit about, I know we're talking about EXP a little bit. So this convention that you're at, I mean, why the convention? How long does it last? What are you learning there that we could tell our listeners?
Wow. So the convention is amazing. So you bring agents from all around the world, and it's sort of like a series of TED Talks. I mean, there's some general sessions, but then there's sessions that it's everything from how you run 2 minutes, your how you run your teams, how you're going through. There's so much market-driven data. EXP this is why I'm here. I am in like heaven. eXp is a data-driven company. There are a lot of companies that put out to the world a lot of, for lack of a better word, fluff or feel good, or it's emotion and sentiment. And with eXp, what they put out to us is just a lot of data. And the data says, understand what's going on with your market, understand what's hitting your market. And with that, you're going to be able to help your clients, you're going to be able to help the consumers, you're going to be able to figure out what their pain points are. And based on what their pain points are, what your clients are, you're going to be able to, meet their needs much, much better. And if you meet their needs much better, they're going to be happier, and then they're going to recommend you. And so it starts from a very real world, you know what I mean?
1 minute.
It's a very cool situation. In fact, I have information I'd love to pass on that I've learned, just in the last couple of days, just onto the listeners too.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to do that. What we're going to do is we've got Ken Pecus. Now, if you want to get a hold of him, he's in Las Vegas, but you got to understand something about Ken. He doesn't care where he is. He takes your call. He's got his team. He's got himself, and he loves to talk to people. Everything real property, 619-977-8419. You can also go to his website, kenpecus.com. So Ken is the founder of the Pecus Group, and we've got him he's at a worldwide convention in Las Vegas, but he still calls in and does his show because of his dedication to our listeners, and we're happy to have him. So coming up next, we're going to learn from Ken what he learned yesterday at this worldwide convention of eXpcon. We'll be right back.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. We're here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
You're saving and investing for the future, and that's good. Have you ever stopped to think, where does my money actually go? This is faith-based investing with Anthony Wright.
Most Christian families don't understand this one thing. The money that you're saving for retirement helps fund the abortion industry as well as other liberal anti-family causes. It's the sad, dirty little secret of American investing world. And here's the good news, though. You probably also didn't know that just a few minutes of your time, and we'll screen and clean your investments for you. There's no cost, no obligation. Learn the truth about your own investment mix. Then the choice is yours. Remember, the word says when God's money is in the hands of the righteous, the people rejoice. Well, we also are fiduciary investment advisor representatives. That means that our firm makes a pledge to always act in your best interest. Go to BibleSafeInvesting.com Download a free copy of my book, Faith-Based Investing, or call me at 931-RETIRED. And please don't forget, listen to Faith-Based Investing this weekend right here on Family Talk.
Gary, your team at GQ Law are experts at solving IRS and state tax problems. Talk about that.
When people have a tax problem, it tends to really stress them out. And one of the things we've been able to do is figure out how to resolve tax problems. One thing we might be doing is setting up a payment plan or getting a collection delay, maybe getting a determination that the person shouldn't have to pay the taxes at all. We do offers and compromise. We do audit reconsiderations. And one of the things that's a really powerful tool that some people don't recognize is sometimes bankruptcy can be used to actually eliminate taxes when there's certain conditions of the code that are met. So we can do all kinds of things. After we analyze your situation, we can figure out what's available, discuss your options, and figure out which ones to implement, what it's going to cost, how long it's going to take. And we can get people out from under all kinds of tax problems so they can sleep again. That's our goal.
Request your free initial consultation. GQlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST, GQlaw.com.
Who will you trust with the biggest financial decision of your lifetime? If you're planning to buy or sell a home in San Diego County, do what I do and work with the true San Diego real estate experts. Ken Pecus and the Pecus Group helped me and my family. They can help you. This is Gary Quackenbush of the Word on Wealth. You hear Ken every week here on the Word on Wealth. He's our expert. He's got integrity, exceptional service, deep knowledge of the San Diego, Coronado, and South Bay regions. These are just some of the reasons that Ken Pecus has completed hundreds of transactions. He manages a powerful team of professionals at the Pecus Group. From single-family attached homes to luxury high-value waterfront properties to apartment buildings, Ken Pecus is ready to help you avoid problems and costly mistakes. Learn more online at kenpecus.com. That's Ken Pecus, Pecus.com. Or call 619-977-8419.
DRE number 010566969, brokered by eXp Realty.
Feel like you're trying to push a bull.
You're not alone. Ask for the legal help you need. Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's GQlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
This is the Word on Wealth. We've got Ken Pecus hailing today from Las Vegas at the EXP Worldwide Convention. And Ken is in the process of telling us about some of the great things that he learned at some of this training that he's been getting in this week-long convention. I will tell you, as a professional, I am always thrilled to hear that people that I affiliate with, people that I trust, that they are all about learning more about their trade and getting better at it, because I think that is it's our obligation. It's the right we have. It's something that is enjoyable to learn your trade. And I've always told my people that work for me and my kids, it's like, you always have to continually learn your trade. You can't just say, okay, I know it all, because it's going to change. That's why Ken is such a good agent. It's why people are just thrilled with him. He's a fun guy to talk to. He knows his stuff, and he's going to teach us a little bit about some of the training and some of the good points that he's gotten over the last couple of days.
Yeah, well, I got a lot. Thanks, Gary. I got a lot to, I think, share, because I think it kind of puts some of the economic, what's the right word, uncertainty and economic questions that are going on to get a little more of a national perspective, which was really good about this. But I was thinking before we do that, maybe we should talk about Pacific Beach.
Oh my gosh,
Mission Beach.
I totally skipped that. Hello. Yeah, it's our favorite feature. That's right. It's our Wednesday feature. Ken's going to teach us. Let's see. We're talking about the highs and lows of prices in San Diego. So today, Mission Beach and Pacific Beach.
Yeah, 92109. I was thinking, last time we did, we went San Carlos del Cerro, and we've gone Rancho Bernardo. I thought time to go out to the water.
Yes.
And let's take a look at it. So 92109 includes Pacific Beach, Mission Beach, and Crown Point, effectively. So it goes all the way up to the border of La Jolla, down to the border, down to Ocean Beach, and to the east, it's effectively Bay Park. So the lowest priced property that closed in the last, and I went back 2 weeks because I know we did a rerun, so I just want to catch everything.
Okay.
But we went back 2 weeks, and the lowest price was a condo in Pacific Beach, and actually it was in Crown Point, so it's literally only 7 blocks to Mission Bay, so 7 blocks to the water, and a 1-bedroom, 1.5-bath condo with a parking space, off-street parking space, sold for $546,300. So who says you can't get near the water in San Diego for around that price? See,
that's terrific.
There's total hope there.
Oh, and I love my Cheryl and I lived in Pacific Beach while I was going to law school, and we managed properties for the Huffman companies back in the day, and we love Pacific Beach. Yeah, Huffman Companies property managers. We got manager of the year for a couple of years, and so we love Pacific Beach.
Oh,
546.
Well, the Huffman Companies just built so many apartment buildings throughout Mid City. That's pretty much iconic in San Diego's building history.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool.
All right, so that was the lowest condo.
Okay.
Now, the lowest house. Well, the lowest house was one that came up on Mission Beach. I know you're shocked. How come Mission Beach has the lowest house? Well, that's because pretty much all of the beach area is pretty tough. So we had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,083 square feet. Now, there was an extra loft that was not in that square footage, so it was probably more like 1,200 square feet. It was on a lot size of 1,250 square feet. So we're talking about fully built, and it's on the ocean side of the peninsula. Sold for $1,850,000, and that was the lowest price property that has sold in PB in the last 2 weeks, or in the beach area.
Okay.
So,
wow.
But the most expensive actually gives. It's kind of an interesting thing. You can just see how much the proximity to the water and owning the land does. Mm-hmm. The most expensive in the last 2 weeks sold for $3,250,000, and which is it's expensive. But now listen, what you get 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,140 square feet, 5,400 square foot lot, a very cool backyard. And it's on the Sail Bay side of Crown Point. And it's only 6-year-old construction. It has a rooftop deck with a beautiful sunset view. So, to a lot of people, that might seem like a very high price, but in San Diego's coastal property, and if you start comparing it, up and down the coast, even up into LA and Orange County, that's actually a really workable number for a lot of people in that market space. So, if you're thinking that, and that part near Sail Bay is awesome. So
it's beautiful, and that's big. I mean, that's big. 3,200 square feet. That's huge down in that area. I would not have expected it to be 3.2. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And it was a cool house. It had a craftsman look and everything. It's really nice stuff. So that's what we're doing. That's what the beach area, at least for this week, is going to be at.
I love it.
So all right, let's go back to some of the cool things I've learned. So I think if you have stock like I do, I think my portfolio took a 10% drop yesterday. Mm-hmm. With everything that's going on, and because stock is so emotionally driven, it's always a bet on the future and that type of thing. That's one of the things I love about real estate. It's we can have emotions, but prices don't go up and down that way. We don't have that same kind of hedge, and I thank goodness that there's that stability with real estate. So I think some of the stuff that was driving that stock drop plus whatever's going on is it has everything to do with this big uncertainty. We've been talking about uncertainty all week. The last few months, you and I have talked about the potential soft landing because of what's going on, because the employment came out even still strong, and they're like, okay, there's going to be one more rate. But when I was here at the convention, they had a really, really interesting segment to give us data, which said, look, here's information. You should know this information. Let your clients know this information because it might help explain why things are happening. So listen to these bullet points that I wrote down just so we could talk. So consumer spending and consumer confidence normally is always coupled, right?
Mhm.
The consumers feel good, they spend. The consumers feel they don't feel good, they stop spending. And that's what we've always known. Well, and unemployment right now is still at historic lows. The new unemployment numbers continue to push that. We're coming into a holiday season now, so you know that the hiring is going to ramp up again.
Mhm.
So we know unemployment is super, super low. And hey, if you didn't know that, come to Las Vegas and go to any of these hotels or whatever and try to ask anybody a question. And they're pretty rough. They're pretty rude and everything, no matter where you go. And it's because they don't have to worry about getting fired because the unemployment is so low. Nobody is firing anybody because they need everybody
Mhm.
here.
That's funny.
And so, okay, that was just a side note. I just thought I'd give you that.
Okay.
But here's what's happened. This is what they said, the canary in the coal mine. And it's consumer spending and consumer confidence are now uncoupled. So consumer credit card right now is at an all-time high. Consumer credit card debt. Personal savings currently are remaining below historic norms, not at an all-time low, but just below historic norms. But what's interesting about this, interest rates now at a pretty generational high that you're seeing it. So you now have people that are still spending, even though their confidence is low, and that's one of these things when people are talking about, we use history to decide where we're going with things. Right now, we don't have a lot of history because things are so abnormal, and it's all a ramification of coming out of that pandemic, where people are trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Real estate sales, the purely the sales numbers for real estate, for the number of properties that are going to sell right now, they're by far at their lowest pace since 2009, and probably going to be even lower than 2009 in terms of that. But in 2009, there was a great recession that was hitting, and people were losing their jobs right and left, and people could understand that, right?
Mhm.
It's just a little bit different right now. So get this: 26% of all purchases have been investors, and all cash purchases and everything.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people know that when they were in the competitions or whatever. But the concept behind investors, they said, is that they were telling us it's not the big investors that are purchasing. It's not the Zillows and the Open Doors and all the people and the BlackRocks that were coming in and purchasing huge amounts of single family homes across the country. The investors are small and medium investors that have been sitting on the sidelines waiting for their opportunity to come in. And so it's like you, Gary, or people that come up off of if they've just inherited money or whatever. These investors,
Minute 30.
they're people like you and I, the people like in next door neighbors that are actually going out there right now and investing and buying when everybody else is kind of, I don't know what to do. You know how we always talk about, you need money to get rich or something.
I lied.
Right.
But it's not that you need money. You need to have the will to do it when everybody else is kind of scared and unknowing. And that's kind of what's happening with the current investors. They're small.
Very interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. So this
Yeah.
is the
Right.
EXP explains all this because they have all the data. And then what does that
2
mean
minutes.
for like a somebody that's like wants to sell their house or wants to buy a house? You can talk about that.
God, you are the best lead-in ever. Do you know that?
Mhm.
You are. It's almost like you know that. Okay, so where does this all lead? So right now, mortgage delinquencies and foreclosures are at 3.37% this first half of the year. Typical nationally, it's at 5%.
Yes.
Just normal in a good market. It's like now 3. So right now we're at the lowest mortgage delinquencies. Well, if you listen to what everybody, with the people that are on the sidelines, well, the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. I'm going to wait. I'm going to pick up a foreclosure or whatever. So all those people, what the data is saying is you're going to be waiting a very, very long time, because that's not happening in the near future, because there isn't that kind of stress in the
1 minute.
However, there is opportunity in the market, and that's what you have to understand. But it's not going to come via mortgage, like we had in 2009, 10, and 11, where we had all the bank repos.
Yeah.
It's not coming in that direction. The sales are coming, but it's not coming that direction. So some more stats that they gave.
Okay, I'm going to hold you on those stats because we want to keep, I don't want to give it all away yet. So we're going to take a quick break. We got our bottom of the hour news coming up. You are on the Word on Wealth. This is Ken Pecus, hailing from Las Vegas. His phone number is 619-977-8419. The thing we've got Ken doing today, he's at a convention. He's getting trained even more sophisticated on buying and selling real property and helping our listeners and his clients and our friends how to buy and sell real property. We're going to be going more over that in just a minute here on the Word on Wealth.
You've got questions. We've got answers. This is the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush of GQ Law. Gary's here to give you peace of mind with
That was perfect.
planning, trust administration,
I was thinking, I have another
inheritance,
minute. And I went,
probate.
oh gosh, no, the music's
Gary, to
playing.
build, protect, and transfer your wealth.
I accidentally gave you a wrong cue there at one point.
GQlaw.com. Quackenbush of GQ Law. Call or click to request your free initial consultation or to talk with a member of the team. Call Gary at 855-500-TRUST. GQlaw.com.
All right, we've got Ken Pecus. He is in Las Vegas at the EXP convention. It's a worldwide convention of EXP Realty World Holdings. Did you know that EXP Realty is in 24 countries, has 89,000 agents. Now, a lot of you have not heard of eXp Realty. I don't know why. Once I heard about it, I went, oh yeah, I know that agent. I know that agent. And I think part of it is because they encourage agents like Ken, these real estate experts, to have their own groups that are basically at eXp Realty. So we have Ken Pecus. He's my co-host here on radio show on Wednesdays, and he is the founder of the Pecus Group at eXp Realty. His website is Ken Pecus, and Pecus is P-E-C-U-S, kenpecus.com. So you can go and see some of the houses that he has up for sale, some of the houses he sold. You can meet his team and learn a lot about the organization. The reason I have Ken on is because I have a personal commitment to him. He's helped my family and me personally with home sales, commercial sales, residential sales, and sales and purchases. And it's just been a great experience. And that's who I partner with on the show, because it's my show and I only get people that I really enjoy that do a great job. So that's why we got Ken on. His number 619-977-8419. Okay. Ken is giving statistics, and I stopped him right before he gave the goods on what's going on. We're talking about in the market, mortgage delinquencies. Some of these things, Ken, is really interesting to me. I mean, I hail myself as a financial solutions attorney, meaning I deal with people's financial problems. And that was my big thing early in my practice. Now it's mostly estate planning and trust administration. But it's funny when you get things like we're all fixed on, hey, I know what it's like, consumer spending, consumer confidence, it's all tied together. And then when it uncouples, like it is uncoupled now, we don't really know how to function, because we get used to these big things that come on. Like we had the recession, and we had all those problems, with the real estate market in the 85, and then we had more problems with the recessions. And then we always say that will never happen again. We've learned, we know how the stock market works. We know how everything works. It will never happen again. And then something else almost as dramatic happens, and they go, okay, that was different because, and so it's never going to happen again. And I never believe that things are never going to happen again. I just believe in hedging your bet and being, having your diversification of portfolio, including a bunch of real property. So we're talking now, I want to, finish or, move on in this discussion too. We've got the mortgage delinquencies are typically 5% just forever in a great economy, and yet they're way low. So people are actually making their mortgage payments, and that's post-pandemic when I met people that hadn't made their mortgage payment in a year and a half, but they've saved the money. They invested it because the lender wasn't requiring to make payments because there was some silly law during the pandemic that, you don't really have to. So they were smart and they invested their money. They made money during the pandemic. And then it was like, oh, you got to pay your mortgage payment. And I have clients that wrote checks for the whole thing, minus all the money they made by putting it in the stock market. It was pretty funny. So here we are.
It's being smart. It's being smart, being aware, being educated as consumers. The more educated each of us, more responsibility that each of us takes in our education in what's going on, I believe that creates the more wealth, which will create the more flexibility, which will create the better lifestyle for all of us and for everybody that we love.
Absolutely.
So this is a big deal. So here's a really good stat. Out of the people that are in foreclosures, there's only 0.57%, so less than just like 0.5% of people of that's actually in foreclosure. Okay. Now you can be delinquent. So the delinquency was at 3.37%, but the ones that are actually in the foreclosure process are 0.57%. But now get this. So the people, and the reason I say that because my agents and we hear it, well, the market can't sustain this, whatever, it's going to collapse. It's going to collapse. It's going to go whatever. But you have to go back. If you go back to the mid 90s, if you go back into the Great Recession, when this all happened, one of the things that caused that is as soon as people lost their jobs or didn't have the ability to make payments, whatever, their problem was they needed to sell. And if they didn't have the payments in time and the market was either going down or something, whatever, they were forced into the foreclosure, they lost their house, or they did what they call short sales, where the bank agreed to accept less than. Well, right now, 92% of all the borrowers that are currently in foreclosure, so in other words, 92% of that 0.5% actually have significant positive equity in their property. So what does that mean? That means people are not going to, unless they're completely blind to the market or what's going on, they're going to sell their property. They're going to put their property on the market, and they're going to sell it because they do have equity, and they're not going to give up their house and give up whatever equity they have. So what that says is that you're not going to see a lot of ridiculously low deals. And so if you're sitting on the sideline waiting for this foreclosure tsunami to happen, or even, a small stream to happen, right now, if you just look at the data, which is what this is about, which is what they're trying to also make sure, eXp is trying to make sure also their agents are understanding this also, so that the agents, we're all people too. We can be influenced by what we hear on TV or whatever. And so they're trying to make sure their agents understand that if they have clients and they have clients that are waiting, you're not doing the job for your client unless you're at least able to give this information out. And then if the client still believes that it's going to be then, well, then that's more to it. Let them do it. But they should know that the dynamics are not in place for a foreclosure wave coming, where they can just pick up houses on the cheap like they did back in 2009 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's so translation.
Yeah.
If you want to buy, you need to get off your butt.
Right. And see, that's the thing that, and that's the point that we're making. And it's been all along, is that, if you're needing to buy, you're needing to sell, you just need to move and stop trying to time the market. It's just not possible, because you get so much of this where, I know people, and you and I both know people that they were making a fortune on, being quote flippers. I'm a flipper. What do you do for a living? I'm a flipper. I remember being at a Halloween party at my church, and it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Oh, I'm John. I'm a house flipper. I mean, it was like, I don't introduce myself as, hi, I'm Gary Quackenbush. I'm an estate planning attorney. It's like, but that was their thing. And so many people were, yeah, that's how I make my house. I flip houses. That's how I make all my money. And back when things were in foreclosure and people were just like taking houses, you had these REOs by the banks and all that. Yeah, it was possible to get in these houses and flip them and do all that kind of stuff. But if that's what you bank your world on, that I'm a flipper, I'm going to always do that the way I've always done it, you're just done. You're done with the market, and it's done with you. And you just have to be flexible and be able to move and change and decide, should I move? Should I not? So I just want to give a perfect example of this flexibility thing. You advised my son, Tyler. This was just a couple of months ago. He was going to get into real property. He was going to buy a house, and this was up in Washington State. And I remember he called me and he said, Dad, I'm looking at the news. The mortgage rates are just freaking me out. I mean, they are the highest I've ever seen in my entire life. They're 7%. And I'm going, well, that's not the highest that's been around in your life. It's just the highest that you noticed. And he says, but mortgage rates are 7.6, 7.8. I mean, I can't even get into a house now. It's too expensive. The mortgage rates are too high. And so I think I'm just going to sit. And so I had that conversation with you, and you said, no, don't sit. You need to move on it, because it's not going to get better one way or the other. The property, the prices are going up, the rates are going to move around. You just have to realize that it may make it so you can afford less, but do it and move on it. And he did. He went into a house, he got into some bidding on this house, and he got outbid, which is really annoying to him. It was some really weird circumstance that I talked to you about. But lo and behold, it came right back up on the market because the person that outbid him fell out of escrow, and Tyler went in. The rates dropped. I don't know how, but his rate is exactly 7 on a 30-year fixed. It's locked in at 7. He just closed on a house, 1966 house. He tore out the carpet himself to check the subfloor. He's screwing down the squeaky floorboards. He is absolutely thrilled. And had he not done that, had he gone by what he was saying, and oh gosh, it's just not working out like I think, I'm just going to wait, he would have passed up this incredible opportunity. So that's why I get so excited. It's like you say, if you're going to buy, move. do it, get going, think about it, do your research. And that's what I always appreciate. So we've got,
I'm so glad he did.
I am glad he did. I love this, anyway, great involvement. So we've got Ken Pecus, you guys, we got him here to the top of the hour. He's at Las Vegas. He's hailing from Las Vegas at the EXP Worldwide Convention. The stuff that he's been learning is absolutely fantastic. After we take a really quick break, I'm going to shut up and let Ken finish the show and tell us the important things that he learned that you and I both need to listen to. And that's coming up next here on the Word on Wealth. His number is 619-977-8419. That is the only number you need to know. Buying or selling, commercial, residential, investing, personal residence, 619-977-8419. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
You don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to find answers you can trust when you need them. Welcome to the Word on Wealth with Gary Quackenbush. We're here to help you build, protect, and transfer everything you've worked hard for with expert estate planning, trust administration, inheritance, and probate. Call Gary and the team at gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
Gary, how do you and your team help our listeners avoid probate?
Well, first of all, probate is a process that involves attorneys, judges, and sometimes contesting parties. And so we try to avoid probate at pretty much all costs. The way we do that is setting up living trusts, setting up properly documented wills, putting the property like houses, cars, bank accounts in that trust so that it avoids probate. Probate is only necessary if the estate plan isn't set up quite right. So we help them get it set up right. And mainly that's done through a properly created living trust.
Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free initial consultation. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
Liberty.
Ask for the legal help you need. Call Gary and the team at GQ Law, 855-500-TRUST, or go online and download Gary's free ebooks and videos. Read Gary's blogs. Call or click to request your free consultation or to talk with a member of the GQ team. That's gqlaw.com, 855-500-TRUST.
We've got Ken Pecus here. He's our partner on the Word on Wealth every Wednesday. He tells us all about real estate, and we are learning from Ken today more than you have learned in a long time. He is at the EXP Convention Worldwide for the EXP Realty World Holdings, and that is in Las Vegas. And he now gets the right up to the top of the hour. He's going to be telling us some things that he learned that really are need to know things for us as people that are here in San Diego County that are looking into real estate.
Awesome. Hey, while I was during the break, I suddenly realized, you were mentioning about how eXp lets the individual brand themselves. One of the biggest eXp agents and brands that people probably know, but don't realize it's eXp Realty is TV show Tarek Al Moussa. It was Tarek and Christina were Flip That House. They're on HGTV. It's been years. He's eXp. He's an eXp agent.
Oh.
He has a whole eXp team, and he's a real estate agent, and it's all through eXp.
Interesting.
And he was even one of the speakers. But there's a number of people that are pretty famous actually out there that are all licensed and working through EXP. So it's a cool thing. But moving back on to the convention, I would say if I had to categorize this convention in terms of what seems to be the prevalent mindset over it, it's all about AI and introducing artificial intelligence into the real estate space. Which, I was an agent back in the mid '90s. And we had our meetings, people came to our meetings and said, all right, the internet, was just coming on board and everything, but this is what you're going to need as a real estate agent. You're going to need your own website. And they were trying to show us how to do the website. Said, you will not be able to sell real estate because it'll all be done via the internet and it'll all be done this way and whatever. And this was back in 94, 93 and 95. And we're all like, okay, yeah. But it's true right now. Who could possibly do real estate as a whether in the industry or even as a consumer, without going onto the internet and doing everything like that. You check people's websites, you check all the stuff. But at that stage in the game, we didn't have apps, we didn't have anything like that, and it all evolved and eventually got there. I think right now, and they're what they're saying right now, they being the people that that are in the C-suite and trainers is that's kind of where AI is. I mean, it got a huge bump with the introduction of ChatGPT this year, right? So that's got a big, and people have started to learn how to use it, but people don't really know how much AI has infiltrated their life. And so the big question when in every industry, and especially in real estate, is AI going to make us obsolete? Is AI going to do this? Or how do we use AI? How do we do that? And so there's been so many breakout sessions on the different parts of this. But one of the things that I'm realizing from looking at everything is, as a consumer, everything you're doing is being picked up. Now, we've kind of known that from social media. We've kind of known that from if we're on Facebook or we're on LinkedIn or whatever, all these companies harvest our, the MapQuest, all these companies harvest our habits or where we're going and what we're doing. And they do on predictive algorithms to provide what we might do next. And then by magic, we're somewhere and we'll go, oh my God, I was just thinking about that. And there's an ad for that, whatever it is, that type of thing. So the same thing goes with real estate. Now, we've all really been in that world already where all of a sudden we're looking for stuff and we'll suddenly see a house in Aspen and we just happen to be talking about skiing or whatever. But it seems like AI is going even farther. And they did this demonstration and we didn't know it was a demonstration. It was crazy. And the founder of the company, Glenn Sanford, came on and they had a video and he was introducing the next set of speakers. But it was a video and it was him talking and saying, for the next one, we'd like to welcome blank, and me, would you please? And he's welcoming himself onto the stage. So these guys all come on the stage and we suddenly realize, and he says, that wasn't him. That was a digital twin. And it sounded like him. It looked like him. Everything was said of him, but it created him. And it got me back to this whole writers and actors strike, where they said they don't want to use their images. It's that. And so they're introducing different aspects of real estate that we could go, whether it's a property, whether we can kind of create properties in our minds of what we're trying to look for and how to play with it. It's something to be aware of that, and they're trying to train agents in all the, various outlets that you can get, the plugins that you can get to have AI use your world. And what I think you're going to see with when you're like looking for a real estate agent, right? And you're interviewing real estate agents, I think moving forward, it's going to be really important to see how they are integrating AI and how their companies are integrating AI into their searches, because one of those things that it's going to do is tools are always about improving your efficiency. it's on, they haven't been able to take away the human aspect of it, right? Until they do, we'll wait and see. But to this day, they haven't taken out that human aspect because we're all emotional, and you generally make those kind of decisions. However, the more of these other tasks that you can automate and predicate on AI, the more you as a person, as an agent, as maybe even in the legal field, are able to devote to your client when it comes down to the counsel that is really going to count on what they're going to do with their life. So I think when you're going forward, when a person is interviewing an agent, or they're going to go sell their house, or they're going to buy their house, I think it's going to start getting kind of important to understand how are you as a person, going to take advantage of what's going on in the tech world out there, because there's going to be distribution advantages for people. There's going to be speed advantages that will be able to get people, in and out of contract issues if they know how to use this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's another level of advice to people that are out there that are going to be starting to interview their agents is, do you really understand what's going on and what can happen? And if you do, or if you don't, how do you intend to, work this out? Because I do believe that's where our industry is going. It's definitely going to that point where we have to understand how we can use that to put our clients ahead of the game, especially in a competitive situation or just in a normal situation of distribution.
And I think it makes
That
more
makes sense.
opportunity. It makes things more efficient. It doesn't, I'm not convinced. I mean, it won't take agents out of anything. I mean, it might take agents out of, somebody that maybe there's some really simple sell or whatever, but you still need,
Right.
you got to figure out what fits you, what's, how does it fit from an emotional standpoint? Is this a good decision? How am I going to kind of build my real estate portfolio? Should I buy this? What are the tax consequences? Those are all things that take some hard thinking and hard looks at that you're not going to get, I don't think, from an automation. For one, because we don't know all the questions we should be asking. And that's what I always find as a professional, is that I'll have clients that will come in and say, what questions am I not asking that I should be? And I'll go, I'm glad you asked that, because here are 4 things that you haven't asked me about, 4 things that are really important. And if they didn't do that, they would have just gone on their way thinking they got all the questions answered. So it's here. We deal with it. AI has been around for a long time. It's just now it's changing how much we see it and how much it integrates, thanks to, some of the big innovations we've got now. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. Ken?
Well, there were a couple of, go ahead.
No, go ahead. A couple more.
I was
2 minutes.
couple of, there's several panels of the top producing agents in the country and the world. And one of the prevalent conversations, or one of the prevalent thought processes of it, is that all these things, including AI, are tools. And every single one of these agents, the number one thing you cannot replace is actual personal knowledge of the property and the situation itself. You cannot replace that because you can't, going inside a property, understanding the property, understanding what people want to do, understanding a neighborhood, understanding where it's located, and how that investment would be good, can not be automated away. That
Agreed.
part, at least not right now.
Well, that's going to take entering 30 years of data that don't even exist other than in the heads of agents who've done
1
this
minute.
for 3 decades. So it's not going to
Yeah.
replace agents. It is a wonderful tool. We see it in all different industries. It makes it so that people that need really simple stuff can do it automated and do a good job, rather than do it yourself and do a terrible job, which is what I see constantly. And I think in this industry, like in all of our industries, automation, it's not a bad thing. It is here. We're in that era. And it's just like when newspapers came out, people freaked out and thought it was like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me, a printing press. It literally happened. When the internet first came out, people freaked out. When anything started to go computerized, people freaked out. But it's here, it's good. You're listening to The Word on Wealth. This is Ken Pecus and Gary Quackenbush. Ken hailing from Las Vegas. Ken, thank you so much for being our awesome real estate expert. Ken's number is 619-977-8419. Ken, we'll talk to you next week. Have a great rest of your week.
All right, sir. You take care.
Right. There you go. We'll be back
seconds.
tomorrow on The Word on Wealth.
Tell a friend about the Word on Wealth, featured since 1995. With financial solutions attorney Gary Quackenbush, an expert in estate planning, wills and trusts, and tax problem solving. Gary is past president of the California Society of Tax Consultants. Reach out to us. The Word on Wealth team of financial experts is here to answer your questions and help preserve your family's financial future. The information you hear on The Word on Wealth is for general information purposes only. This program discusses general financial and legal topics. Seek legal advice from a competent lawyer for your individual legal needs. The opinions expressed here do not necessarily